Nice to see the market bullish again, and we've been looking for wave 4 here, as you may know, and we'll be looking for wave 5 to the upside, and then a corrective move, and then on the bullish side we'd be looking for further upside here for the S&P. And for the NASDAQ here, let me get this into order here. We were looking, well, this particular move down here was a little bit sort of scruffy, but we've got it pretty sort of close, and we talked about this being wave 1 to be long here and so on. So this should give us wave 3, 4, 5 here, then an ABC. I'll go into more detail about this when we do the other video, of course. But yeah, everything's going according to plan for the S&P and the NASDAQ, even though it was a little bit messy in here with the earnings, and we're kind of through most of the big earnings stuff at the moment. So, I mean, especially, Microsoft and Apple. Apple's still May 4th, isn't it? And I'm not sure if it's correct or not, but I heard that Apple and Microsoft account for about 40 or 50% of the NASDAQ. So it's pretty serious, isn't it? I don't know the truth about that, but check it out. So with Apple here, now, obviously we're in a bullish trend, that goes without saying. If we go 1 and 2 and 3 here, we want to see this wave, this wave 3 here. We want to see it longer than wave 1 here. It doesn't have to be, but then we have to look for wave 5 up here to be smaller than wave 3. So it kind of like doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means that there's boxes unticked. So I would like to see this sort of churn and climb and continue to move higher. Now, in that, I also know that there's different ways to count this up here. You can expand it and contract it and do all sorts of things with this. So this count that I've got here, it's fine, and because we track it very closely intraday, then there's not really going to be a big problem if the count is wrong. We know the trading levels. We know that at certain points along the way the market's going to stall, and stalling at minor group 2 starting at 165 is really quite normal. And what we've been looking for here is for the market to find support in this level, because once it finds support in this level, then it's not going to be pulled back to the 50, then it's going to climb up through this here. Now, within minor group 2, 65, 72 and 80, that's really just the skeleton of a lot of other important numbers that are in there as well. But all that said and done, we should be climbing higher through group 2. We've got to get through 168 where it is at the moment. That's important. 170 is important, and on top of 170 we have 1, 2 and 3, which is group 1 of 70, and the 68 here at the moment is group 2 below that 170, but there's also it's only one level of group 2, but it's sitting on top of minor group 2. So heading up into 70 and vibrating between 173 and 168 is just is just normal. It's just normal. So anyway, this is one count. I won't go into the other counts going up here at the moment. I do keep an eye on them though. We're just going to go to we'll just go to, what's this one, 1000. So yeah, that's sort of okay here. So this is the 165. So yeah, there's lots of other important levels in here, of course. So the 170 will be the next one. I mean, this still needs to become the tested support at this point, so there'll be a bit more fluffing around there, but the 170 will be the next number after that, and then the market can fluctuate around this number, but it will use this here, that 168, as the support. So any sort of testing back, that would be tested at that point. Do you know what I mean? And then you'll try to find support on the 170 and sort of thing, and then you're up, and then you're moving through group 1, which is 71, 72, and 73 at that point. So it'll just continue to build at, through those numbers, as long as you're aware of the price at that point. Once again, here, if we do consider this wave 1 here, then we can also consider this wave 3 here needs to be longer than this wave 1 here as well. So we can look up here. We can do all sorts of things and get extensions and things, but we'll just stay with the levels at the moment. And just on the 100 area here, we can start to get some sort of idea about this here. Now, I've probably got this wrong here, knowing me. So this will be 1, 2, 3, probably up here. I'll just move these up here, a bit further up here. It'll be something like this here, I'd imagine. And then this will be probably 1. I mean, it might have, the way that I had it before may be the case as well, but I'll just treat these individually. This is also 1 in here, and 2, and 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So I'll just put this up here and probably get a check back in there and so on. If you went long above this high here, I'll just turn that green for the moment. If you went long above there, we can just for the time being, we'll keep the stop out of the way. If you find that a little bit daunting, then take some profit up at the 170 area, because what we have to do here is that if we just take let's just take this low here from this price point, and let's take it to 170. So that means that the price, I don't think it will be the case because we're in a third wave, but technically it can come back to the 61.8% level here. I don't think that's the case, but that's why you need, if you're going to go higher, if you're going to catch this third wave up, so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here, then that will be the case for that. So you'll need to leave the stop out of the way. It's just, instead of moving your stop really close and doing all those sort of things where you're asking for trouble, you're better off just taking some money off the top at that point. If you're that close to them, if you want to be that close to the market, so to speak. But I would imagine that this wave 2 here is going to find some support within this group 2. So we've got 165, just to get this in perspective here. Group 2 is 165, 172 here, and then the 180 here. So they will all play out as important levels here. So then their minor levels, the next degree below that is the sub level. So this group 2 here, where we had resistance over here, that will be support of the 170. So realistically, what you kind of look for is group 1 above and group 2 below. That will be the swing range for the 170. So I'm thinking that this wave 2 will stay, anything that moves, it will check it from 70, it will check back. It might just check back to the 168 here, the smaller group 2 here, subgroup 2. But yeah, so we should be pretty safe at this particular point. You could probably even get it a bit closer to break even here without any worries at all. So yeah, I mean, it shouldn't breach the top of wave 1, so you could probably even just put it above here for that. So that's that, enough waffling about that. And Amazon, yesterday we were talking about this, we had wave 1 and 2 here, and then we're looking at this as wave 1 or possibly wave 1 here. Either way, it didn't really matter because it still leaves wave 2 at this particular point, and you may be long on these points here. So we'll just put these into place as well at this point, and we'll put a stop in as well. Let's just give this a bit of thought. Just do the coloring in first. Okay, so we've got, if I can just borrow these and build this here. That's just occurred. Oh, that's the earnings there, isn't it? So April the 27th, that's today. That's the earnings, whatever whatever that is. Everybody's having, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3. I just wanted to move those silly, and 5 here. So I'm just counting this in a conservative way. However, we'll probably need, so counting this here as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be sort of normal. But the thing is that when we come back and look at this here, get that, if this is going to be wave 1 here to this length here, then we want the wave 3 here, this wave 3 here, to be longer than wave 1, you know. So it certainly looks like the case. So what we'll probably do tomorrow with this, I'll just move these out of the way here. We don't need to do anything today, obviously, you know, because it's doing everything that we want it to do. So what we'll probably do tomorrow is we'll probably take this little one here and put it as wave 1 here. So now we're actually going in and expanding this to the upside, which is the next step. You know, always take the conservative step. So this will be 1 and 2 here, or 1 and 2. I think I'll just, I know that technically is the right place to do it, but if I had 5 waves here, then I'll do that. But because I've got 3 waves here, I want to look at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to remove that and put that there. And yeah, so 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That looks better to me, you know. So, but I'll expand all of that up tomorrow. Okay, so let's just enjoy the moment on that and let it be. And so from 10, that's a minor level here, and that's so good that we've got that as support, you know. And then 20 is the next one, and I'll just put this in here, that 30. So that actually from the 100, I know it looks humongous here, but basically this is minor group 1, 1, 2 and 3, and then these are the sub levels in between these. So the next important, the most important number between 10 and 20, 1 is the strongest number, then 5. So we've got 5 here at that point. And yeah, so anyway, it's banging away, but I'm going to move on, as exciting as that is, and over to NVIDIA. So yesterday we also, looks like we got triggered in here as well. So I'll just turn that green, and then we'll also just copy that here and put that red, so that low should not be breached at that point. It's not a very nice, don't like that green. Still not the nice green. See? British racing car green, eh? So we'll see how that sort of plays out here. That should just sort of climb higher. We've had NVIDIA as wave 3, the A, the B and the C for wave 4. We were looking at this being wave 1 yesterday, so we'll stay with that. We should start to see this up here be wave 1 and 2 in the next space here. So just be, that would be 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. So it'll come in around the old highs and pull back 50-60% and then push up into that space. So that's where we are at that point. You could, once this top comes in here, then if you can get this 1, 2, 3, once it pulls back here, you could buy the B wave in the ABC pattern here. So let's just, if you wanted to add to this, so let's just, there'll be some, you see how it's not, this was a little bit weird here because we had the A, the B and the C wave here. So there was obviously some sort of news little event or something. So, you know, stuff happens, as they say. So there'll be some sort of thing like that again, like an ABC here, but it probably won't spike this time. But that would be the next safe place to build in. Now, you could buy the 50-60% back again, but I would use 272 and the high above that to move in there safely if you're you know, looking at this. So that's NVIDIA. And Meta here, I just thought because it's, you know, moved up, you know, 80% before the beginning of the year or whatever it is. This is a weekly chart, and this sharp move down signifies not the end of the world, but it signifies a wave 2. It was simple and it was sharp and it's done its job. and we need to work it to the upside. So we've been counting this as always been as an impulse wave to the upside. There's different ways to count it. Just because I've got it like this doesn't mean that that's correct, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, I don't like to put my box in my head in a box and get locked into that, because the market's always fluid and we need to change with them. Sometimes we get things right, sometimes we're off a little bit, and I keep different counts going to the upside and keep tweaking them, and so at some point something becomes obvious and it can't be anything else, and then you can lock that in, and that's fine. But you know, for us, we were looking at this as a little wave 4 here, looking for this as a next push up here. So everything's going pretty much the way that we wanted it to, as such. So because normally, you know, there's different ways of you know, a market can have, you know, have a nice 5 waves like this, you know, and then as wave 1. But I don't really see that in here. It's like it's kind of building, so it's kind of like a you know, a building process here, you know, that type of thing here, you know, where it builds up here. So it's doing this more than this. So I have to take wave 1 to the top here, because normally I'd have wave 3 at the top, you know, but this is not, that's not going, this will look at wave 1 here for this. So it'll be something like this, 1 and 2, because this will just be 1 and 2 here, right? So then the third wave is going to be, you know, way up here somewhere. Now I know that's sort of fanciful and all the rest of it, and I don't normally sort of say that, but this is not a wave 4 here, this is a wave 2, you know, so that's where we are with this situation. So I'll leave that at that, and we'll just go for a wander on the intraday charts and have a look at where we are. But you can see that between these are all major levels, the Fibonacci numbers, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then we can go 8, and then we go to 1 again. We go back to the beginning again. Between those, we have the medium levels. So between 1 and 2 here, we have 150, and in here there'll be 250. There's other important numbers, but this will be the most important number here at that point. So that's what we're facing at the moment. So we can expect the market to have a little dance around that number and then push up to 3. Now when it pushes up to 3, that's a bigger number, so it's going to do pretty much like it's done here, but because it's higher up in the trend, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, so it'll be a little bit tighter up at that point. So it'll spend more time up there. Okay, so I think I'm just going to go to, not sure, just because I'm spending time on it. So yeah, look, so yesterday we were looking here. We've been looking for wave 4 to pull back. It didn't pull back to the 38.2%. We figured we may have wave 1 here. We talked about going long above this, but I think this just gapped anyway, didn't it? Didn't trade through that, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're long, fantastic, that's good, and that's that. So yeah, I was just talking about 250 then. So I'm thinking about this being 1, 2, 3 and pulling back for 4 here somewhere, you know, and then going up for 5 here. So we're going to see a bit of a dance across here, you know, that's simple as that. And when we're talking about this number here, 60 is important, but 65 will be more important. So 65 is the beginning of group 2. So I'll just get that in, that's close enough. And 280, and then 272 in here, good enough. And I'll normally just paint that in there. So what I'm doing here is just bringing in the, you know, I'm basically just sticking flags in the ground, really, you know. So to the upside here, this group 2 is going to pin it back into here. This is going to help get its thing here. So we're going to see, look, I've probably exaggerated the size of this. I understand that this market keeps a tight trend, but just want you to be aware that we're going to be spending some time here, right? So yeah, as long as you know that, that's the main point. And I don't really think we need to go to the 100, but I'll just check it because I'll probably have to update things a little bit. So yeah, will it pull back to the 38.2%? Probably not, which is way down here. It's possible, so I'll better just put that in there and that there, but it's possible, but I think it's going to, it really is hugging to that 40 there, so we'll just leave it at that point. But yeah, so let me think about this. 1, 2, yeah, there'll be sort of 3, 4, 5 here perhaps. I'm just guessing here. I haven't really looked inside of this, but it'll probably be something like that, you know. But whatever it is, there'll be another splurge here, but it'll be on lower volume, and this 250 will, you know, give it a bonk on the head and keep it there for a while, you know. So that will be that. And moving over to Netflix. Okay, so this is a bit of a wonky trend to the downside. Now, we've had this green line here before, so I'm just going to put it back in again. And no matter what happens, we can go long above that top there. Now, it's possible that wave 2 low can be in here with an A and a B and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's doable. It doesn't give me the best looking 5-wave structure up here. I can get it as 1 and a little A, B, and C for 2 here, expanded flat, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then an overlap here of 1. Not a lot though when you think about it, because it's not all of that as wave 1, it's just in here, and then 5 waves up here. So it's kind of doable. I mean, it's a, you know, it's bending the envelope a little bit, and I don't particularly want to tick the box as as a wave 1 here unless it proves itself. The other side of the coin is we do have 5 waves here. So there's 2 ways we could look at it. We could look at it as a truncated 5th wave that hasn't made a low below here, possibly. And the other way is the 5 waves down here would be wave 1 here, 2 here, and then 3, 4, 5 to come down here. So it doesn't really matter either way. If that top is taken out, then you can go that way. That's all I can sort of say at this point. If you can get a classic trading levels pattern on 330 here, then it's good to go. But with that, you will need the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, and that becomes the thing. So like here, we had the arrival, the reaction, the first high above the level, but we never got anything more over that. I mean, you could have gone along over here, but this is a different trend than that one. So you've got to kind of separate those and work this one again. So then that's the high. So it didn't get triggered here, didn't get triggered here. And look, it may not get triggered over here either. But if it does, that's the point that you need to be long, because that way the market's actually proving to you that the market is strong because it's taking out another high. Now you can read the market depth on those sorts of things, and you know, and the volume, of course. But that's where that is at the moment. So we're prepared for that. Enphase here. So we're looking at, we had a look at the bigger picture here yesterday, so I won't go to the weekly and all the rest of it. But basically we're looking for the A wave, the B wave. Can this be the C wave down here? Possibly, but it's a little bit short to have that here. We're looking further to the downside. So, yeah, so I mean, you'd think it would sort of move with the other markets, but you know, I have to say we've got a bearish outlook on some of the you know, the green metals, the nickel and the lithium, and maybe even copper, you know. So you know, this is in the same sort of, I wouldn't say industry, but that whole new, you know, solar battery inverters, all that sort of stuff, you know, the new world. So yeah, I don't really know, but I'm thinking that we'll look at this as 1 and 2 over here with an ABC pattern here. Now, if this just drops below this low here, then we'll have to look at this as wave 1, 2, and we'll go down further at that point. So look, at this stage, if it takes this top out here, then we'll be looking at the A wave. That's all I can sort of go at this point. So I'm not going to call the trade in on this at all. But yeah, so just not to do anything here for a little bit. And what do we got here? Google here. So yeah, we talked about the ABC here. We talked about going long here. I just turned it to green a while ago. So it'd be a bit like Meta in a way. So it would come down for wave 4 and then wave 5 here, and then there'll be some sort of ABC pattern here. We'll find support wherever that, wherever that wave 4 low goes, it will probably be over here for that. It'll be like that. So if we can get these 5 waves here, then we'll look to buy that pullback in this box over here and build on that, and then we'll build on through here as well. And Microsoft, so with Microsoft here, we had our wave 4 here. This was really the same as the SP 500 and the NASDAQ as well, this one, but it was the first one to take off and the other ones woke up a little bit later. But we can look at this as probably wave 1 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. So we you know, it would just be normal for it to come back and check this level 300 here. So there might be a bit more sort of fluffing around here. I just don't see it leaving it that quick as it going up into wave 3. Just sort of, yeah, I mean, it can do, but I just normally would see it, I don't know, just sort of check here a little bit. So I can't see inside of this move here. So just be prepared that the market may use this magnet here, this 300, to stick here a little while. So just be a little bit careful. Don't think it's going to, what you see here is not what you're going to get over here. It may be the case, but you know, a number like this normally holds the market to itself. Now, the other thing with this too is that all of this block here will become the support over here for that. Okay, so the swing range will be these tops here, and also over here of 10, 20, and 30. This is all of group 1 here. Now, I know that looks a long way away, but if you went to a daily chart, it's probably not a big deal. But testing support on top of the 330 here would separate the market being held by this number here anymore. So it's got a long way to go. That's, you know, that's its just basic swing as well. That's its swing range here. But we know that it will sit on support at you know, above the 280 at this point. And yeah, so we'll just see how it develops a little bit. Nothing, you know, I mean, holding long is fine. That's just the bearish count, but I wouldn't worry about that too much at this point. Bertie here, so we're looking at 1 and 2 here. I might need to look at this. It didn't really pull back to where I wanted it to pull back to, so it's probably, I'll probably need to move this over here a little bit more, something like this. I'm not really seeing the wave 4 that I wanted to see here, so I'll put this here. And the 330 is also like critical here too, because it's the top of group 1 of this 300 as we just talked about before. So, you know, when we looked at Microsoft here, that looks quite big here, doesn't it, to get from 300 to 330. Over here it looks a little bit smaller, but this number here, you know, it's the 4th strongest number, so it's got to spend some time here. And these are probably, I don't know, the 61.8% and maybe the 78.6% of the previous trend that was coming down. So all of this area here is going to create, there's going to be a top here somewhere. Okay, so as long as you know that. So yeah, we'll just see how that plays out. It can be wave C here. It can be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave up here. Otherwise, it's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 up here, and 4 and 5 and go up. Now, the interesting thing here is once I do see this wave 4 here, then I'll know where we are in this trend. I haven't had time to pull this apart. But yeah, in its own way, once we've got that 4, 5 here, once we've got a clear 5 wave trend here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, anything above that, and then it's confirmed that it's bullish at that point. You know, we have looked at, let me just have a look at this for a moment. S&P low volume here, this one. And I'll just pull this in here a bit better. Okay, so this is the S&P low volatility stuff here. So this is a bit like Berkshire Hathaway in here to a point. It's a daily chart. You know, this is your Johnson & Johnsons and all the rest of them. And we've looked at this before, and to me, it's just nothing but bullish. So we've got wave 5 over here with an A and a B and a C wave here for that. And then we've got wave 1 here. We've got a nice 5 waves up here. We've got a nice corrective move here. So daily chart, so 1 and 2. It's a bit big for wave 2, I have to say. I'm kind of a little bit concerned about that. That's one little thing that I am concerned about. But it did pull back to the 61.8%, but it could be a B wave at this time. But even if this was a B wave here, because I'd still need 5 waves up here. So if we've got 5 waves here, roughly, so it would still be, it's just the dog snoring in the background again. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. If there was going to be bearish, it would still be something like this. So that would mean that this wave C would come over to here, this wave A would come over to here, and this wave B would be up here. So this would be an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave. So even if it was a B wave up here, I still need to get 5 waves up here, and I don't have that. So I still see this as being bullish for the short term at least. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, but I think it's more likely that we make a top and we'll sort of take that wave 2 on board a little bit. This wave 1 here is bigger than this wave 1, so that's a good thing, you know. But anyway, just want to point out that these particular low volatility stocks have more upside to be delivered here for this. So it's more than likely we're going to be pushing much higher here, you know. I could also just put this as wave 1 over here as well. So there's a lot that can be done here, but we just want to find 5 waves and we want to move beyond the 5 waves. Then I can say that we're going to be more bullish at that point. You know, it's just a step-by-step process. Okay, Tesla. So we were looking for, I won't go to the bigger picture because we've been there, but we're looking for an ABC correction for wave 2 here. Now, this is the B wave up here, and this is the C wave down here. So I've counted down as 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 in green, and 3 and 4 here we've been working through, and 5 here for the 3rd wave. I'm looking for the 4th, and then 1 more to come in here. Now, there is another count where we can actually have this in as the low here, just to chuck a spanner in the works. So if I was looking at blue wave 4 here, for example, the 38.2% retracement level is here. So that means that anything above that as a nice support on that level, and we could use this is group 2 here, the medium level 150, the group 2 major level. If we get a tested support on 165, we can go long from that point. I think that we can also look at this move here coming up here as wave 1 already, because when we talk about this wave 4 here, we talked about these wave 4s because normally wave 4s would all sort of line up here. That's the textbook thing here, you know. But we could see here, and it's pretty normal for me to see this is all the wave 4s coming through here. So now we're breaching that wave 4 space here. This doesn't look corrective. It looks impulsive here. So yeah. So the safe trade would be waiting for a classic trading levels pattern on here, and that's that green thing, waiting for the first high above the level. The other thing to do is just to go long now and keep the stop under here, or actually put the stop under here, because if we do go down again, then you'll have to, that will be down probably, let's just take it to 140. So that would be the downside risk. So you wouldn't want to do this with leverage. If you wanted to get in a small position here, so we just get a 1/3 of a position in here, or half, or something like that, then that makes it a little bit easier at that point, you know. And we have to wait to find that stop. So you'd be holding some red here. It's not something that I would do, but if you're into this, that's okay. So we need to have that down at the way here. Now, if you're going to go long here, it's going to happen pretty sort of, it's going to be a bit of a tight event. So that means that at the 165 here, we're going to start to see, you know, all of this here is going to start creating the resistance here. And there's a beginning to a trend, then the middle of the trend, and then we'll be at the end of the trend. So the end of the trend will be, it'll be something like this here. And then some sort of ABC pattern here, and if it's going to go up, then it's going to go up. So taking that top out here is that. If you can count 5 waves up to that point, then you could also buy the, if you can work out the 5 waves, then you can look at the 50-60% retracement level in here. Now, it may not even come back to the 50%, but that would be, if you're clear about 5 waves up here, then you can do that at that point. Okay, so, but otherwise we're just going to wait for the 165 we're going to wait for the market to prove to us that where it is at that point. Block here, we're not really doing sort of much with this. If the markets are going to turn bullish, then I wanted to sort of try to understand a count that could do that, and that would be the A wave here, the B wave here, 1, 2, 3, even the gap down here, but this would be the second low here with a 3-wave move in here, and then 5 waves down here. So if we're going to go along here, we'd need a classic trading levels pattern on the 65, but I'm not that keen about that particular trade. There's better. The Bank of America here, this is the low here, and we've been looking for an ABC for the A wave, an ABC for the B wave, and we're seeing the market turn here. Not a very nice sort of impulse wave to the upside so far. I mean, I can see this is impulsive here. This is, they're giving me 5 waves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So another little 5 here. So it is ready to go. I mean, you could, if you really like this stuff, you could go long at this particular point. But we're basically looking for a move up in here and then a turn at that point. Now, it could be bullish, but I'm looking at the whole thing as being a corrective rally to the upside. If it's going to be bullish, we're going to use, because BAC is down, working low, has taken the lows out down here and it's working down here, then Morgan, which is, a completely different bank as such, we can look at this here as down here as on the bullish side as an ABC pattern here, completed, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for 1, an A and a B and a C wave over here for wave 2 at this point. If it's wave 2 here, then we're going to go up into wave 3 over here, We'll build over here, but we need some evidence of that. So if we want to be bullish, we have to understand where the bearish count is sitting, right? So the bearish count would be looking at this here as the A wave up here, the B wave here, and the C wave up here. And the C wave up here will need 5 waves. So all this squashes up when I close the program. So I'll just push this over to the side. Just push this over here. So the 5-wave move is this 1, 2 here and 3 here. We looked at this yesterday. It did come down a bit low yesterday, but it's recovered nicely now. So what we want to see here, we expect BAC to move up, so we can kind of expect this to move up as well. So hopefully that will give us our 5 waves of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it will probably move to the 150. So what that does is interesting, because anything above this here as an ABC pattern to the upside, anything above that, so if the market had a corrective move here, just making it a bit bigger than it will probably be, but if it moves up past that or moves up above the B wave, then we'll need to look at this as wave 1 over here and wave 2 here, and then because we've got 5 waves here, we're going to get another 5 waves over here, and we can start building to the upside, so we can confirm that we're bullish at that point. So I can't confirm it yet, but that's how I would do it. So over to Johnson & Johnson. So we've been looking at this move to the upside here as wave 1. It's possible to look at this as the A, the B, and the C wave over here for wave 2. That's possible. We can look at that as wave 1 up here. It's a bit scruffy. So we've been waiting for the first high above the level. We haven't got it yet. It's also possible to look at this a little bit bigger pattern over here with an ABC pattern over here as well, because it's all a little bit messy. And if that was the case, then we'll get a C wave coming down here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll get a move up at that point. So it doesn't really matter. This is 165, and we're looking for the first high above the level. So if it does push up here and give us that first high, then that's where we'll be going long from. I kind of like the larger pattern for this particular market, as that's why I brought it on board. We're sort of just watching it. So in terms of the pattern from the top here on pretty much a daily chart. So we've got an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here, and then we've got this perky little wave one to the upside. So we're just trying to figure out, will it pull back to the 61.8%, or is that wave two here? All of those sort of things. We do know, however, that that's just 50-60% retracement level from top to the bottom here. So we know that's important. We know it's going to struggle there. So we've got the 50-60%. We've got the 165, which is part of group two here. So there's a lot going on here that's pegging it down and warping it and so on. But as soon as we find that 165 as the tested support, then we can move up into wave three up here with that. If that is indeed going to be the case, I think it's going to be something like that, because even this move here is currently in three waves, but it's only in three waves as a bullish pattern, as long as it needs to take out this top here to confirm that's three waves here, because it could be down for one, back for two, down for one, back for two, and fade here, and I've made yet another horrible mistake in the markets. But yeah, so safety first. Alrighty, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the weekend. Cheers.